Passenger 990 for the San Fernando Valley, Orange County 714 and 750. The 213 area 448 Los Angeles, it's 520, and then talk. Good morning, Tom. I understand that the lines are lighting up, and you have a question for me. Did
yes, good morning.
I ever come close to marrying Judy? Is that correct?
Yes, and I wanted to ask you something else, Mickey. Was Louis B. Mayer, can you hear me? Was Louis B. Mayer as tyrannical of a leader of the studio as Judy painted him? Because she was always saying how mean he was. Is that true?
No, it actually wasn't.
I don't know.
Judy, unfortunately, in her later years, would become very ill, much to the sadness of all of us who loved and knew Judy. Began to hallucinate somewhat. In fact, she even went as far in a couple of, as told by books, to say that Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer had given, both she and I, had given us barbiturates and given us pills, uppers and downers, if you will, to keep us working all kinds of tremendous, fantastic hours, which was not true. There was a thing in those days called the morals contracts. And Mr. Hayes' office actually watched out for those things very, very astutely. No, to answer your question more succinctly, he was not a tyrant. He was a very nice man. He was a good human being, a good businessman. He made he made the Tiffany of the world, not far from where yours truly is sitting here in Culver City, but he had his faults, like we all do.
Did you almost marry Judy at one point?
No, Judy and I were like sisters, brother and sister. We went to school together at Lawler's Professional, right up on Hollywood Boulevard. And I loved her with all my heart, and no, I let Judy off the hook. Judy is one that I didn't bring my insane self to, but we both loved each other with a love that was lasting and still lasts and will last all of my lifetime. Does that answer your question, Tom?
Yes, thank you, and you truly are a legend, Mr. Rooney.
God bless, Tom, and have a lovely day.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Patrick, are you on the line?
Yes, I am.
What would you like to know, sir?
Well, I want to tell you about the experience that I had on Tuesday, June the 9th, in going to see Forum.
Oh, did you see the...
Tuesday,
When did you
June
see
the
it?
9th.
When did you see it funny, sir?
I saw it funny in New York, and I saw it funny in Detroit.
Did you know that it flopped in New York at its opening? Are you aware of that? Did you know that it opened to rave reviews, and the second night of its performance, they had 165 people in the theater? Are you aware of that?
No, I'm not aware of
Did
what
you
the
know that
box
it took
office
them...
was. I know that the show worked there.
It took them 12 weeks to garner an audience. It was a hit flop because they hadn't written anything funny. Nobody really understands the plays of Plato's 250 BC. I mean, it's just an evening's entertainment.
But there is a storyline there, and because you did not play the storyline, my 10-year-old son couldn't tell what it was about. When other people were doing the exposition in the play, you were busy doing other business. And to make matters worse than that, on that night, which was the best basketball game of the series, in an audience where today everyone has a VCR, you can't...
That can be dull to me, too, but I want to take another call. Bert, are you on the line there?
Yes, I am, Mickey.
Thank you, Bert, for having waited. What is it I might help you with?
I'd first like to say I was born in 35 and grew up with your movies through the 40s.
Oh, you were 15 years old then?
Well, no,
I was 15 when you were born.
Okay, so I can very much appreciate your acting ability. I'd like to tell you, in contrast to your previous caller, that I think that you are one of the 3 or 4 greatest actors that have ever lived.
Well, Bert, I certainly appreciate that. The fact is that everyone is allowed their opinion. And you know what that does, Bert? That makes our great country so great, because everyone is allowed to be opinionated. And the fact is that if you're overly opinionated, I find that you don't really enjoy life too much. But it's good to have constructive criticism. The thing is also, Bert, is that it's much like a horse race. Not everyone likes something different. All I brought to on the way to the farm is Mickey Rooney, and that I plead guilty about. but I'm very happy that you've liked my performances, and you think that I'm such a fine actor. I think everybody can be an actor. Acting, you know the simplest, Bert, you know the simplest tutorage in being an actor? You know what it is? Accepting your own individuality. That's all it takes to become an actor or an actress. Accepting who you are and what God made you.
Yeah, Mickey, I think you have, in your movies, the Andy Hardy series and all those through the 40s, you have the rare ability to take an audience in a theater or wherever else on TV today and take them completely out of the audience and make them feel exactly what you're trying to make them feel on the screen. And that is a rare
commodity
ability, right, in an actor to do that. And I think all of your movies are great American classics.
Well, Bert, the good Lord had given me what little talent I do have. I'm always learning. No one ever stops paying their dues, Bert.
Right. Mickey, I have one last thing to say.
Surely,
in one of your movies of the late 50s with Carolyn Jones, I'll never forget this scene. You were dying by the side of the road in a 34 Ford Phaeton.
Babyface Nelson.
Right. And the acting that you did laying in the grass there, coughing up blood, I thought was one of the greatest scenes I've ever seen in the movies.
Incident.
And I mean that sincerely.
Well, Bert, I know that you're sincere, and I'm sincere
Okay,
in thanking you, and may you have a lovely day, and thanks for liking me. Good luck.
All right.
God
thanks,
bless.
bye.
John, are you there with us?
Oh, I am.
Thanks, and good morning, John.
Yeah, I thought I'd, as long as you've been married a couple of times, I'd ask.
No. I've been married, unfortunately, and fortunately at the same time. I've been married 8 times.
Well, I wasn't going to.
I'm going to tell you something.
Counting.
No one is proud of that, because, you know, the last time I got married, Bert, I said, I do. And the minister said, I know. Now, you don't ever want to lose your sense of humor. You know, did you ever stop and think that there are people that are within listening the areas of my voice right now who've been married 8, 10, maybe 11 times? Unfortunately, I say, because no one is proud of that. The panacea of life is to fall in love with your high school sweetheart, get a box of detergent, and go off into the sunlight. And oftentimes, that just never happens. But there are a lot of people that have been married as many times as I have, or even more. But, John, they don't sell papers.
Well, I've been married once.
It's all right, so once. So you have 7 more to catch up with me. I hope you don't do it. Well, what is the question? What might I help you with?
Actually, the question is this.
What?
If you were to pick the 2 qualities
Yes.
at the top of the line,
Yes.
the women, that's a must with them in
Yes.
order to be help make a good marriage, and the 2 that are the worst, that should be totally avoided at any cost in a woman, that what would you say?
I think that without a doubt, spiritual depth in a woman and a genuine desire for patience, which most women have to find time for, or do not find time for, today with men who are so impatient themselves. Do you know, we're nothing but a bunch of grown-up little boys, and women have to, unfortunately, go through one heck of a lot to, whether you be Mickey Rooney, or whether you be
all except the growing up part.
you, me, or this and that. People have got, they've got a lot to contend with. Incidentally, I'll be right back, and I'm Mickey Rooney sitting, and I've written several tunes. I have several unpublished hits. and the fact is that I've had the great Nat King Cole do a record of one of my songs.
I'll be darned.
And even Steve Lawrence happens to think, and I can tell you because my chest is sticking out to it's about a 33 or 34 size, to say that Steve thinks I'm a pretty fair country writer. And my wife, dear Jan, is a beautiful country singer-writer and a wonderful singer. But the fact is, I do love music, and I keep at it. I wrote a symphony when I was 17 years old, which I'm very proud to say was played by the Washington, D.C. Symphony Orchestra in front of Mr. and Mrs. Roosevelt at the time, and was conducted by Mr. Hans Kindler.
Oh, yes, I remember how.
Who told me after the performance of Melodante, which it was called, he said, I am not kind to music, but you surprised me tremendously. And I thought it was just wonderful. And I said, Mr. Kindler, I wished I were deserving of those wonderful accolades that you've just given me.
I know you must be very proud.
Thank you very
You
much
must
for
be
your
very
call,
proud.
and have a lovely day.
Thank you very much. Nice talking to you, mate.
God bless. We'll be right back. Everybody, just to let you know that I'm Mick the Rooney, sitting in for the one and only Michael Jackson. No one hint or something, this and that, in the transition. When I believe you want to know what it was like when they started to treat me as an adult, or somebody with a little bit of more or less of dignity and respect.
Yes, sir, and also how you
But the fact is, I want to get this straight. They have always treated me with respect. I believe one gets the respect that one gives in life. I believe that if you give respect to people, even as you are a child, you will get respect back. If you act, much like the Bible saying, as a child I did childish things, and as a man I did things as a man. But the fact is that in show business, which has been my life, I've been in show business come September 23rd. The late and great Yul Brynner loved it too.
Yes, sir.
Now, if you want to talk about baldness, we'll talk about it some other time.
Again, I've always appreciated your work.
Thank you.
And
You don't have to give me any accolades, Clint. I just hope everything works out all right for you. And I appreciate your call, and thank you so much. Jerry? Gary. Oh, Carrie, excuse me. Hello, Carrie?
Hi.
Oh, I'm sorry, Carrie. I just misread it. My glasses. I wear glasses.
That's
and
okay.
I'm farsighted. You'll have to excuse me.
Guess which Carrie this is? This is your daughter, Carrie.
Carrie Rooney.
Yes, how are you, Dad?
Oh, Carrie. I just got married.
I got married, yeah, living in Huntington Beach.
I know. And you know what? Your dad, like he is all the time, thank God.
Yeah.
I was working and was unable to get there, but did you get my gift, you and your husband?
I certainly did. It was wonderful, and
But
I
Carrie,
really missed you.
Well, thank you. I missed being there, and just dad to daughter. All the love and kisses and all of the happiness in the world. I want to wish you all the happiness I might have had on various occasions.
I know. Well, I'm very happy, and I wanted to tell you that I'm going to come and see you on Saturday.
All right, I'll be waiting for you.
Okay, Dad. Well, good luck on your show. You're doing great, and always speak up for yourself.
I certainly will. Don't worry. Thank you.
Okay, I love you. Bye-bye.
I love you too. I'll be right back. Thank you, Carrie Rooney, for your call. I am Mickey Rooney, and I'm squatted before God and say, God, this is our child, and this is our life together. And I really think that being the marriage mechanic, you drive your marriage into my garage, and I try and fix it for you. But I think that really you'd feel better about yourselves. And that's my advice.
Well, great. I really appreciate it.
God love you for the call. I hope everything works out for you.
Thank you very much.
And the lovely child, too.
Thank you.
Yes. And Bernice?
Yes.
How are you there, darling?
Oh, fine, and it's great you're on, and I love hearing you.
Thank you.
Now, I have two questions.
Go ahead.
Unfortunately, one is not strictly showbiz, but it will hit a little bit.
Go ahead.
And the other one is not.
Go ahead.
So, you said you wrote music. Did you write your own music for Susie the Snow Girl?
I certainly did. I write all of my music at the piano.
Do you know that I have that record, that 45 record?
Susie the Snow Girl.
Susie the Snow Girl?
Yeah, you bet. And then Nat King Cole did Little Christmas Tree for me. It's on a Capitol record. And, of course, nobody can find it today. I even have a record that Sidney Miller and I, when we wrote a tune called Oceans Apart, that Guy Lombardo and his band did.
Oh.
And I'm really dating myself. Did you know that the March of Dimes had Sidney Miller's and my song together as their theme song for many, many years called Have a Heart?
Oh.
Have a Heart.
But I love this record I have, and on the other side is You Couldn't See the Teardrops from the Rain.
Oh yes, Teardrops from the Rain is on the other side of the record. Well, friends, we've just about run out of time this first hour. I'd like to thank everyone who called me so far. We still have 3 wonderful hours to chat left, so I invite you to call me. I will at 520 Talk. I'm Mickey Rooney. I'm here for the one and only Michael Jackson. We'll be right back after the network. But I want a show of my own. What?
We're doing Ken and Bob next. Why don't you come on there?
No. I'm not a fly-by studio.
I see,
I want my own show.
You need a little work. You need a little work. You're rough around the edges.
All right. Incidentally, listen, no one knows it all.
You're going to say, yeah, I'm glad you said that. Okay. Remember that.
And the minute that you stop listening, when you stop learning, it's called listen and you'll learn.
Hear that, Wally? He's telling me. He's telling me. You're telling me. Wally, hear that? We come up to complain, Wally?
I don't want to have to really tell you that the whole joint is really...
Okay.
Rest everybody.
Sounds good to me, Wally.
And if you've got something in your crow, get it out. Get it out. Get it out and get it out.
Anything else? Can I quote you a million times?
I like your shirt.
Thank you.
You look like you're flying to British Airways.
You will listen.
Are you the captain or a co-pilot?
You better. That's why you two will do a show together. I just shtick.
See, I
assume
New morning team.
Yeah, there goes Kevin Bob.
incidentally,
How is it Wally?
authority
or
is
Mickey
only
or Wally?
derived by having by man's inability to find out why he has none.
What the hell? That was a non-sequitur which said nothing.
Incidentally,
The Bhagwan speaks like that. Who does? The Bhagwan.
I write not existentially, so it's
You have to be
very
very
easy for me to say.
Yeah.
The fact is,
It's very difficult for us to understand.
man, zombie, what was it today?
Are we up? Are we up yet?
No, that's I just wanted to what's going to be able to see.
Excuse me. Sure we can't get Walt. We sure we can't get Mickey on Ken and Bob.
Thank you, sweetie.
Can we get him on Ken and Bob? Just for a minute. Will you get your ass out of here?
Ken and Bob,
Coming up problems. Get out of here, will you?
Thanks for asking.
Oh, hey.
I was on at Ken and Bob this morning, you know.
Oh.
But they knew how I felt about it. I think that it's absolutely hypocritical to start celebrating something that doesn't exist any longer. Nobody cares about Hollywood any longer. Hollywood has become nothing but a universal tour trip and a trip to Disneyland. And then somebody might go to Vine and Hollywood and go, ah, what is that? You know? And the people that really care, the people who have already got theirs, they're the people who always say, I got mine, too bad you didn't get yours. They have scampered away from the business and left us with a sign on the side of a hill that says Hollywood, that some colleges every once in a while write funny little things on or take a letter down with. And it's a shame. I've always thought, now you know, Will Rogers' home is a national park. Did you know that?
Yes, I did.
Well, I've always thought in my life that Hollywood Boulevard was important enough throughout the entire world to have become a national archive, a street, if you will, from Gower to La Brea. As it is now, it's almost just Sodom and La Brea, if you will.
I agree.
And the filth and smut and everything else, it needs more than a broom. It needs more than just moving this house here and playing a little bit of cleansing Monopoly. You need to really get down and do something. And I think that Bill Welch and all of the people who play, quote-unquote, Hollywood, really don't get the job done. I mean, that's only my opinion. I don't dislike them. I think they do as much as they think they can. But however, I don't believe that anybody's in back of them that are meaningful enough to get the job done. Nice to have talked with you this
morning. I agree, Mickey.
God bless.
Could I ask you a quick little movie question?
Surely, go ahead.
What was the movie, the Andy Hardy series movie, where you had your first car and you sang that cute little song, When You're 17 and You're in Love with a 16-year-old angel from above?
Oh gosh, I made 17 of those Andy Hardy pictures, and you're pulling one out of a hat on me. I think it might have been Love Finds Andy Hardy.
Love Finds Andy, when you got your first car.
I think that was it. I might be wrong, but I think that's it.
Was that song ever on record?
I don't know. But I must tell you this, that I'll be right back, and this is your buddy Mickey Rooney, who is being held up to the microphone for my dear friend.
You helped us. You motivated us into doing this.
Cheryl, your call is so welcome, and you're a lovely lady, and I wish you a lot of luck. And
I'm having a wonderful time.
No one ever said, including our Lord, ever said it was going to be easy, Cheryl.
But it's been wonderful.
Yes, it has, and thank you so much for the call.
Thank you, Mickey, for everything.
Ed, you're on.
Good morning, Mick.
Come on in, Ed.
You're a giant among men. I want to wish you a happy Father's Day.
And happy Father's Day to you, sir, Ed.
And I want to say this. Because of you, a lot of people have called me Mickey, because we share the same last name.
Oh, really? Are we both Roonies?
I am a Rooney.
I'll be darned. Do you know my real name, my birthright name, is Yule.
I understand.
Y-U-L-E, but then I changed it in 1938 to Mickey Rooney.
Right.
And I've been called several names. Fatty, Shorty, hey you Baldy, this and that. I come to several names. But my real name was Yule, but my legal name is Mickey Rooney.
I understand it. We see eye to eye. We're about the same height.
What, 5'3"?
Well, a little bit taller than that. It's
Okay.
5'4". But
It is not tall you are. It's what you do with
I understand. But I say you're a giant among men, and I appreciated what you've been saying this morning. And I have 2 questions for you.
Go ahead.
These are, what are your thoughts on nuclear power, and what are your thoughts on California offshore drilling?
Great. 30 seconds
I want to
left.
address that to you as quickly as possible, because nuclear power, I think, is the most wonderful thing in the world. I think that Mr. Einstein never dreamed, nor did he want, when he finally broke the atom in Princeton, being one of the greatest mathematicians that ever lived.
You go out with some big dogs.
Okay, we have... Did you say in the first part every false answer? Yeah. That's a false answer.
The voice of Southern California.
Great.
How did you like that timing?
If you are a parent who has a teenager between the ages of 14 and 19, are you concerned about your son or daughter's performance in school? About their grades?
You're panic. What do you want? Get rid of them.
Thanks so much for your help.
I'm not through yet.
I'm talking about in here.
Oh.
I said thanks so much for your help. Brian.
Great. We're going next door.
But I know. Can I thank you in here?
Thank you.
Aren't you used to
Mickey,
being nice?
No.
Thank you.
We'll go next door. You know, you're one of the Mickey.
Necessary for success.
You're one of the few
Follow-up sessions throughout the school year.
great men in our business who's done every fucking thing that could ever have been done and succeeded, but will still listen. So you gotta listen, and that's what you're doing now. And I mean it, because you've got so much to give, you want to give it all out all the time.
I do.
You can't.
I can't.
You can't.
I do, but stay in my corner, will you, Pat?
I will.
You stay in my corner.
I'll be there.
I love you. Good to see you.
You having a good time?
Such fun.
Is it?
I want my own show. I want mixed night.
I want to grab one quick Shelley Wagner.
What do you think of the title of the show?
MR.
No, mixed night.
The mixed
Show. I want mixed night.
I want to grab one quick Shelley Wagner.
What do you think of the title of the show?
MR.
No, mixed night.
The mixed
Welcome to Mixed Night. Mix, my mix. No, my name is Mix. Welcome to
What are you doing, Mix? I got it.
You're making a fool of yourself,
It's Mix Mike, the microphone.
What does mix? You remember that phrase?
What is it?
Mix. What was that about?
Oh, the Hollywood, the Wall Street when fell, the Variety Center.
That's the kind of call I understand.
Oh, well, you and I admit. I'll have one.
They want Mickey to talk about détente and the summit, but nobody wants to talk about that to him. They say no show business calls for Mickey Rooney. Why do they book him here? It's showbiz!
Can't believe what's coming into our living room.
Yeah.
And people criticize the Hayes Committee, and they try to say, well, we don't want a thing like that again, and all that. And yet, I think in those days, people had to write really good movies. They had to be interesting. And nowadays, you see things that it seems like the story isn't even there. They are relying on shock effect.
William, may I say one thing to you, if I may?
Okay.
Yeah, the fact is that you're talking to somebody who's probably the biggest audience in the world, and I love entertainment more than anybody in the world. Would you believe it or not, I love to be entertained myself, and I am so sick and tired of filth and dirt. There is nothing, it's a known thing in theater with all people, that the minute that you have to work dirty, that you've lost your talent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's pretty...
And the pictures today, unfortunately, there are a lot of them, but there are a lot of good pictures. As an example, I love Charlie Bronson pictures, even though they're full of action and this and that. I love Clint Eastwood. I'm crazy about. I think Sly Stallone is to be given a lot of accolades, because here was a man who came from the streets, who did it all himself. He did not do it with the aid of anybody. There was nobody. He did it by himself, and I think we should give him 1,000 bravos.
That's right, but like I'm saying, they've almost...
But you know what, Bill? You know who pulls for you to make good? Almost nobody.
Yeah.
Everybody's hoping you fail somewhere along the line. Then they only pull for you after you've made good.
But I wanted to say one last thing. Movies like your Bill, I thought was tremendous.
Well, thank you, but you know...
You didn't have to resort to smut or anything else. It was a tremendous movie, and it kept you every minute interested.
Well, thank you very much, Bill, for enjoying Bill, because I enjoyed with him for playing Bill, because Bill Sector was a real person and a real wonderful friend of mine who passed away when I did the second one. Thanks so much for your call.
Okay.
God bless and have a nice day. Leonardo? LaRock? This is Mickey Rooney, and I'm welcoming you back on this lovely June 17th, and I hope everything is fine wherever you are. I'm sitting in for Michael Jackson. To the lady who just called in about the AIDS test, I just want to finish that up by saying the fact that I agree, the fact that it's my opinion that we should not test it by one test. It should be sent to three people, 3 different people to really certify it. The wheels of laboratories roll very slowly, right, Brenda? Yes, Tom, what's on your mind this morning?
I just wanted to tell you, it's wonderful listening to you this morning, and you're doing an excellent job.
I appreciate that very much.
Where is Count Dracula now that we need him?
Well, I think he's out at Universal having been eaten up by a shark.
Really?
Yes.
Listen, I wanted to get on a lighter subject, or let's say in a different vein.
Go ahead, what is it?
I'll preface it, Mike. I have 2 questions, which I will preface this way.
Go ahead.
If I had the option to go back in time,
yes.
Number 1, I would love to walk amongst the dinosaurs.
Yep.
Number 2, I would really love to see Hollywood back in the 30s when the air was clean, there was room to breathe, there was very little traffic. And I just wondered if you have any interesting anecdotes. You were so fortunate to have been in that area at that time. And if you have any interest...
With a head, a body, 2 arms.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
And believe it or not.
But I'm trying to take it easy on it.
Everybody liked each other. People that I could name on both my hands who are allowed, did you hear that word? Allowed to make motion pictures today. And the Screen Actors Guild has done an awful job for the actor and actress. I've often spoken about it. I will continually speak about it, because they have never represented the actor or actress correctly. They've taken away from us. They've treated us like dogs. And we've done our very level best. But anyway, getting back to a more happy ending to your particular story, why look backwards? Do you know the most important thing in the world is now? We can't change it. We can only, in reveries and memories, think of what it was like and say, gee, that was nice. But you've got to concentrate, my friend, on today, because this is now. And you know what now stands for? NOW? No other way. We must take a break now, and I might remind you that I'm Mickey Rooney. She's actually 68.
Really?
Yeah.
They said she was 62, and I said, Jesus.
Goodbye.
She looked a lot older. Yeah.
She was 68 years old.
She didn't...
I know.
30 seconds.
She was born in 1919, now.
Great actress. Oh.
One of the greatest of the world.
Great talent.
Like Meryl Streep and like Jane Fonda. I don't care for her politics, but I think she's one of the greatest actresses we've ever had.
Super.
She was born to the royal purple.
Yeah. She is.
10 seconds. Stand by.
Coming back here real quick, and then go to
I will.
Billy.
I will. On June the 21st, it will be Father's Day, but this is a wonderful day to welcome you back. June the 17th, and I'm Mickey Rooney, sitting in for the one and only Mr. Michael Jackson. Billy? Bill, how are you? Well, I'm just sitting here talking and chatting. Well, certainly, who doesn't? Well, aren't you nice, Billy? So that I can tell everyone. Remember Billy used to bite us?
Better believe it.
Huh?
They were all over the place.
You're the president of what they call the Little Persons Club of America?
I founded the Little People of America.
The Little People of America.
And then and in fact, you're an honorary member, you know.
I am.
And
well, I'm not too tall. I mean, I could be classified as a short little person.
I haven't been listening to radio as much as I used to, but this morning I heard Ken and Bob say that you were going to be sitting in for Michael today. I've been listening ever since, and I wanted to say that one of the earlier callers, he wasn't very nice, and
but that's all right.
Extremely gracious to him.
But Margaret,
showed you class.
Yeah, but you know, Margaret, you can't have everyone like you in life.
True.
And you know, all you have to do is do God's work and do the best you can. I don't want to be preachy, but that's it.
Yes. Another thing I wanted to thank you for setting some of us straight on. Louis B. Mayer. He did have a reputation for being a tyrant, and you set us straight on that.
Well, the fact is, they all want to write bad books after you're demised. They you know, it's who wants to read anything good? You know, if you had a paper today called Filth and Dirt, everybody would love to buy it. And I wanted to put it out, and you'd open up, and you'd find somebody in the oil fields, and then you'd find somebody working in the coal mines, and this and that, and have nothing lascivious in it whatsoever.
Okay, another one of my pet peeves, you were talking to someone about the Walk of Fame?
Yes.
That's a big fiasco anymore. It's so disgusting. You used to have to be a superstar.
What do you think's so terrible about it today?
Well, because anybody and everybody gets on that. They're even talking about, what, King Kong? Their faded old jeans and ragged old dirty-looking hats that you have seen on them for years. This is supposed to be a dressed-up special affair, and I think the public would like to see everybody dressed up.
Frighteningly, I say this to you, Marguerite. The Academy Awards are about ended.
Well,
they're on the slide. They're not caring about the show anymore. No stars. Where are they? Most of them are passed on. We have some people today. There are about 6 wonderful stars. Let's take Warren Beatty, who's a big star, a big name today. He wasn't at any of the awards. He hasn't been at the awards for a long time. Jane Fonda wasn't at the last award. Oh, maybe she was. But Redford wasn't there. And, of course, the fellow from New York, who makes all of his pictures in New York, he wasn't there, Woody Allen. He never comes. It's called we're not cohesive. We're not together. And you know, when a team's not together, boy, that's it. We're going to take a break now. I'd just like to remind you, I'm Mickey Rooney. Kind of adjectives that I could get together and conjure up.
You and her together.
Not or as beautiful or as complete as Judy Garland.
Mickey, how was it to work with Wallace Beery?
Oh, he was magnificent. You'll be surprised at the 10-year-olds who don't even know who Wally is today. It's a very sad thing for me to go around the country and ask people. Very seldom do they show stablemates that I did, or the Champ with Jackie Cooper. But the fact is they still remember and show Spencer Tracy in a lot of his pictures, and I'm so very happy to say that they show a lot of my pictures on television, even though I don't get any residuals. The Screen Actors Guild saw to that, but the fact is that I'm just happy to say that I've often told the public I'll work as long as the public wants me to work for them, and so far I've worked through 5 publics. Nice to have talked to you, Pete.
Okay, Mickey.
And have a lovely day. Thanks. Richard, what's on your mind?
Oh boy, a whole bunch of things, but I'm going to keep it to 2, so.
Go ahead, Rich. What's up? Are you in L.A.?
Yeah, pardon me?
Are you in L.A., Los Angeles here?
You're in North Hollywood, out in the valley.
Good.
Oh yeah, that's what I always say.
What's on your mind?
Well, the first thing is, I want to know what your opinion is. I have mine, of course, of what this, Reagan putting it to Gorbachev about that Berlin Wall.
Yeah.
And I definitely think they ought to tear it down. I don't care what Reagan's up to, but I think it should have been torn down a long time ago. And I just want to know what your opinion of it is.
Oh, I was in Germany.
Yeah.
I was the first day at the trials, the Nuremberg trials.
Oh, were you?
I was still in the army at that time.
Yeah.
I was one of the last to come home from Europe.
Oh, boy.
Because of being Mickey Rooney. And I had my points to come home, and I did come home. What do I think of the wall? I think that was never to have been there. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
We're afraid of the United States government. And it's, you've got to remember that the government is for the people. And the people are not for the government, for Washington, D.C. Do you understand?
That's right.
What do you think about that?
That's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way it was set up way back when. You know that.
You bet, and it still is. And the people should know that that is the thing that should be always possible. As an example, I don't believe that a congressman or a senator should serve more than 12 years. I don't believe that they should make that a vocation. I believe that that should be a calling. I think it breeds a lot of contempt and a lot of bad things. We've come to the end of this hour already, far too quickly. I've just loved talking to you all. I'm looking forward to talking to you in the next hour of conversation. I might remind you that I'm still... Well, welcome back. This is Mickey Rooney, and I'm sitting in for Michael Jackson. Harry, you're on. Harry? Harry?
Yes.
Are you there?
I'm here.
Yeah, what's on your mind? What can I do for you?
You still haven't mentioned, you're on center stage, you know that.
I beg your pardon?
You are on center stage at the moment.
No, I'm just behind the mic.
Beg your pardon?
This is Mick, behind the mic.
Yeah, but you're on center stage now.
I'm on center stage?
Right.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to ask you a question that may go back many, many years. You never have mentioned who the party was responsible for you being in the position you are today. Do you remember a fellow named Joe Ewell?
Oh, come on.
Come on.
Come on, Harry, do I remember? That's my father. What are you talking about?
No, I used to watch him. And
don't be facetious. The fact is that, of course he was responsible for me. And
I want to hear more.
I adored and loved him very, very much. And he passed away when he was only 57 years of age. And I loved him with all my heart. But what is your question?
The question is, I used to see him as a youngster at the Burles. I used to sneak in.
Well,
and
I can't say shame on you.
No, but...
So what? It was a wonderful show.
It really was a wonderful show, and in all your years...
It's too bad burlesque can't be brought back today like it was then.
Your father was, right. How about your mother?
My mother? She was known as Stu, but they had a thing called the Breakfast Club on the radio. Bill Sharples here in Los Angeles. He was just magnificent. I think this particular network that I'm on right now does the most wonderful job in the world for everybody and letting them express their opinions. And I think it's a very interesting thing. I want to hear what these people want to say, because there's a lot to say, and they're not saying it to me today. And I'm getting a little teed off. I've only got just about 39 more minutes to be with you, and I want to hear your problems. Mike, have you got anything else you want to say to me?
Mickey, if I could, just a moment, would you please wish my mother a happy 68th birthday today? And
what's her name?
Her name is Endlin.
Endlin, happy 68th birthday, darling. May you have many, many more.
Thank you very much.
God bless and have a lovely day.
You too.
Mark? Hello, Mark. You're on the air. Mark? Hello, Betty.
Hello.
Hello, Betty.
Hello.
Hello, darling.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Where are you calling from?
Los Angeles.
Oh, are you?
Yes.
Yeah, what's on your mind?
I'm a native Californian.
Yes.
One of the few, okay?
Good. What's on your mind?
Well, I agree with your basic philosophy very much. I want you to know that. But
what is that, my darling?
Your basic philosophy of be you to other people. Put you forward. And if the rhetoric comes back, it's all right. Whatever. You're still you.
Well,
always be yourself.
Do you care to hang on for a moment? We'll talk right after I get back. We have to take a break now. I'd like to say I'm Mickey Rooney, sitting in for the vacationing. Betty, welcome back again, and let's continue that.
Okay.
And you were saying to me?
Your basic philosophy, I think you just, more people be themselves and just accept, people with their faults, and, because we all have our own.
I just basically said that people... Go on. Excuse me, my darling, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Come on, we're wasting time.
Oh, no, I just wanted to say that what I thought Judy Garland was...
Yeah, well, she's wonderful.
Absolute effervescent.
Yeah, the thing is, and before you get off, I want to say that it doesn't make any difference whether you're black or white.
No.
I've got news for you. The minute that you have prejudice...
You're in trouble.
You're in big, big trouble. I tithe every month with a black minister by the name of Frederick Casey Price here in Inglewood, California.
Yeah.
And he has taught me more about life and my association and what I mean to my Lord Jesus Christ than anyone that I've ever known.
Well, that's beautiful, Mickey, and I know you're a very strong.
Thank you.
And you know, my son is a judge.
He is.
Him all the
I'm Mickey Rooney, welcoming you back on this beautiful June 17th, sitting in for the vacationing, how dare you, Michael Jackson. Mark, hello, from Orlando, Florida.
How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. That's one of my favorite cities. I just played there with Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Farm, and I loved that Vivaldi's restaurant you have there.
Downtown.
Yeah, I love it. They're all my buddies down there. What's your question?
At my fraternity house last week, we watched Strike Up the Band.
Strike Up the Band with Judy, yeah. And wasn't Tommy Dorsey in that with me?
Yeah.
And Judy and I?
I'd say I love that movie, and I wanted to know what was your favorite leading lady, or who was your favorite?
When you say your sorority, I mean your fraternity, what college are you attending?
I go to the University of Central Florida in Orlando.
And which was my favorite leading lady? They all were.
They all were?
I happen to love ladies. I think that ladies are the best thing that we men have to look forward to.
For sure.
And I really have no particular, there's a particular love that I have for Judy, but I've loved working with all of the wonderful people that I've had the opportunity and the real honor to have worked with. Thanks very much, Mark, for your call. Thank you. Bob?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi, Mickey.
Hi, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Hollywood.
From where?
Hollywood.
Oh, yeah. And what's your
Well, I was
question?
listening to you. I worked as a talent agent.
Oh, you're a talent agent.
Yeah.
That's marvelous.
Or a sheriff, however you want to put it.
Well, no, talent agent, you're looking for great talents.
Well, we have some great talents, and I thought when I was getting into this end that the idea was to get my clients auditions and jobs, but I found out that 90% of the time we spend is policing the agencies to pay our people correctly. And we've had such problems with SAG.
Yeah. I can understand that.
I couldn't help but was driving back from delivering some things to casting offices. I had to pull over and say a couple of things. There are some scams going on that actors are being ripped off for hundreds of millions of dollars.
Would you believe billions?
Billions, and it is so simple the way it's done.
Well, certainly. I know how it's done. I instituted a class action suit against them about 6 years ago, which they threw me out of in New York. Unfortunately, I instituted the suit right under their nose, and they, shall I say, they did something about my not getting to court.
Well, of course, I don't know if the public knows, but talent agencies cannot sue. It's up to the actor themselves.
Well, the actors are not together.
Well, and that's a shame.
You see, you can always hear about the directors going on strike, and you can hear about the writers going on strike, but you never hear about the actors going on strike.
Well, if they don't know what they should be striking over.
Oh, they should be striking over the fact they're not being paid residuals pre-1960.
We have a particular thing that I worked as an actor personally for 18 years before I started doing this. And I had a commercial airing. At the time, I had changed over to be an agent, and I found out I was a professional athlete for many years before I did this. I have a lot of people around the country who knew my face. I was getting these calls going, "Hey, man, we saw your commercial," and then I was getting nothing.
And you were getting rolled.
I was getting...
you were getting rolled, sir.
$4,000 last year on a commercial that aired probably in every market in the country. Brought it to the attention of the union after figuring out the way that it is done, and we did figure out the way it was done. Spent a half an hour in Patty Duke's ear. Spent many, many hours with various people in the Screen Actors Guild. And I just want to read 3 lines from a letter that we shouldn't have gotten that says that even if we could prove that what we originally suspected to be the advertising pattern were the case, any claim on that basis would likely to be contended to the point of arbitration, with the outcome of such arbitration potentially damaging to the wider interests of the guild. Now,
when you can you? That sounds like hieroglyphics. But the fact is, I would like to, pardon me if I may, I'd like to awaken you with a snap of my fingers. Wake up, sir. Wake up. Did you or did you not know that the Screen Actors Guild does not care one iota about you?
We're finding that out, but they are getting a little afraid of our agency, so they're taking care of us.
They don't care about the actors or the actresses.
That's right. And
pay your dues and get the blues, it's called.
There's a simple pattern called wild spot usage, which the advertisers do not have to log air dates.
I understand how you feel, and I'm all for you. In the meantime, I have to...
I appreciate your interest and at least coming out and saying that SAG is not doing a job. I was sitting in the new offices for 3 hours last week.
Doing a job they've laid down on it so terribly, it's just absolutely insulting to everybody. We'll take a break now. I'm Mickey Rooney, sitting in for the vacationing. Oh. Hi. Hi, friends. This is Mickey Rooney. On the next Michael Jackson show, make sure you join... Hi, friends. This is Mickey Rooney. On the next Michael Jackson show, make sure you join guest host Jeff Edwards. He'll take a look at the recent events in Nicaragua and how the Contras are funded, plus an in-depth look at dissent in the Catholic Church with some priests who are pushing for some strong reforms. That's on the next Michael Jackson show.
Perfect.
Hi, this is Mickey Rooney. Later today on the Michael Jackson show, make sure you join guest host Jeff Edwards. He'll take a look at the recent events in Nicaragua and how the Contras are funded, plus an in-depth look at dissent in the Catholic Church with some priests who are pushing for some strong reforms. That's later today on the Michael Jackson show.
Great. Thank you very much.
Here we go. How close are we to welcome?
About another minute and a half.
Okay. Thank you.
You're coming down the stretch.
No, incidentally, I've loved it. You know how long it seemed to me?
Short.
15 minutes.
That's right.
Because you're lovely.
That's what the beauty of this thing is, though. That really, I mean it. There's a lot of guys, the people that do the show, and they say, well, geez, I just got started.
No, but the fact is that I'm talking about from my promanship side. Yeah. It's a walk in the park. And I can't say it enough. I want my own show, and I don't want you to sit on your prats here too long thinking of them.
If I bring in a piano, will you do it with a piano?
No, I want to talk about marriage. And I think that Mickey marriage, and I think that the marriage mechanic has validity in a sustaining situation of where I can help people bring together their families, bring the cohesiveness.
30 seconds.
Where Dr. Ruth is talking continually about, did you blow your nuts and your vaginas opened up big? I can talk about whether or not what it takes to really stay in love and how to be in love and what it makes to what love really is. How it happens to be love. Why is it love? My new book you can get. Mickey Rooney's Guide to a Happy Marriage.
12 easy lessons or 5 hard
ones? No, it's called You Marry Your Best Friend.
It's real short and it's good. Trust me.
Very simple.
You're going to like this. You got a question right after.
Who's this?
Okay, that's Dorothy. Okay, here we go.
Sitting in for the one and only Michael Jackson. Dorothy, you're on.
M is for the million joys he's given. I is for his impish ways so grand. C is for the class for which he's striven.
Aye.
K means he's a king in movie land. E is for his eyes with mischief gleaming.
True.
Y is for the years we've loved him so. Put them all together, they spell Nicky, the greatest little guy I know.
Well, what a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful tribute.
Just threw it together.
You just threw it, and who are you that threw what together?
The SAG.
No, who are you?
In the past hour or so.
What?
I say I just threw it together in the past hour.
But who are you?
Present for you.
What is your name?
Dorothy.
Dorothy. Well, I think that is so just a movie. But as far as that goes, it's not our big problem. We have bigger problems in the world today than colorization. Or Mr. Turner, Ted Turner, buying the reservoir at Metro. We've got a lot bigger problems. We've got a cut and bleeding world. We have 285 million people in the United States that are trying to find...
Now we found
found out, had a plan from the very beginning to steal the ministry from us. And
So was Jesus betrayed.
yes, but that we found out we have so many millions of friends, people we didn't know we have as friends, and the support has been phenomenal. And if some of our people are listening to you, I want them to know. I didn't realize this was going to be on radio. They just said your friend Mickey Rooney's on the phone, but if I'd like to be able to tell our friends that we're going to try to write them. The mail has been huge. We've had Monday before last, we had something like 9 trays of mail in one day.
Will you tell Tammy and your 2 lovely children that God will strengthen you, He will see you through these bad times. I love you, Jan loves you, the books, my wife and I send our love to you and Tammy and your family. And if ever we can be of any kind of help to you, do not fail to call in the middle of the night, wee hours of the morning. We'll always be there. Well, we love you very much. All right. Everybody loves you. Thanks for listening. I'm Mickey Rooney on Talk Radio.
Glad I wrote that shorty because I had a feeling that was great.
What an ending.
Huh? Thanks. A nice curtain closing.
Yeah.
You can't follow that act.
Oh, yes, you can.
Thank you.
God bless.
Oh, what a pleasure. Thank you.
Nicola.
I love you and thank you for being such a wonderful
Thank you.
person.
I'm glad having you.
Thank
you guys
you.
are super. Really. Listen, I'll see you at the forum. Take care.
Thank you, everybody, for helping me out
Okay.
so much.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Nice to meet you.
Good show.
Bye-bye.
See you later. Where's
He's
Where's Chris?
He's in the room. I'll bring him out.
How do I want somebody to bring him out now, guys.
Period. Bring
Quite a bit more that should go unmentioned. Yeah, we might as well not mention here.
Absolutely.
You want the Oh, you're videotaping.
Remember me?
Yeah.
Hi.
Have you heard about the new Polish sex manual?
The new
Polish sex
no,
manual. In,
no.
out, in, out. Repeat if necessary.
I'm the one with the camera. You know, in the movies, the one that always has the camera.
Yeah.
I grew up on watching it. Now I make it and watch it.
Those are nice cameras. In
Thank
fact,
you.
I just bought my daughter a Sony Pro 8 Handycam.
Oh, the Handycam.
Great.
This is Lita. Who
Wow.
you talked
Hi,
to on
Lita.
the phone the other day.
Get real close, Lita, so you can see me, okay?
You're beautiful.
So are you, hon.
Thank you. Yeah, break a leg today.
Oh, no, break
that's a terrible thing to say.
Break a lip, right.
Oh, really?
Sure.
Oh, and he's a smoker. I love him already.
And no
We're a
ashtrays.
dying breed,
20 seconds, she
literally.
has you sized already.
Yeah. No, Lita helped me find you guys the other day.
This is a present for you.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
What is
My goodness.
Shem, what are you
Glad you're
doing?
not getting any attention.
I tell you, this show will always have a pot to pee in, you know.
What the hell is that?
It's an ashtray.
Oh.
Did you see Back to School, the Rodney Dangerfield picture?
Oh, it was on last night. I didn't see it though.
Did you watch it?
Was it good?
Was it funny when the little kid goes, did you catch that in the beginning?
Probably not.
No, what was he do? What was it for?
Well, it was Rodney as a little kid. They showed him as a little kid.
Oh,
So
great.
the
Yeah.
little kid actor goes, I don't know, Dad, I don't like
yeah.
school.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. That was good.
Is that the only ashtray we have
We
in this
have
building is a
former
planter?
No, actually,
I brought with them.
Never
I don't want to answer you the question. The reason is because it's a question of dignity. Whether I did, whether I didn't, with Gary Hart or anybody else, I
That's a
wouldn't
yes.
answer it one way or the other. That's directly from the 2020 transcript.
Well, not necessarily a yes,
I'll
but
call it a yes.
Who cares?
it's not all real anyway.
I want to know if Jim Baker slept with Gary Hart.
Yeah, right. Well, let's see who's on the Late Show tonight.
Not Frank Zappa.
That's true, isn't
Did you
it?
see the line that, what's his name, put in the other day?
Rosenberg?
No, the fellow that writes for the Herald Examiner.
Larry,
Rick Dubrow.
Oh, yeah.
He says,
Oh, yeah.
the Late Show is not the same as the Titanic because they had entertainment on the Titanic. Plus, it's got to be difficult for that staff, as it has been for you guys this week, when you have a different host
Oh
every
my
day.
God, yeah.
You don't know what you're doing. I mean, you don't know which way. One day you got Mickey Rooney, the next day you've got Jeff Edwards,
Yeah.
and you got me. I mean, it's got to be craziness for you people.
Yeah, it's funny. It's up and down, but usually this week really has been no problem.
Where are you working next
pleasure.
week, Mr. Snyder?
I've got Street Games and Art Uline with Safe Sex.
A lot of
Those are
laughs
his guests.
today.
I used to think safe sex was when your parents didn't know. I'm going to use it. I'm going to use it.
You better.
Who's sitting with Tom?
Jeff is.
Okay.
It's 9 o'clock. Let's do
I
it.
hear Ted Koppel's song. Is he here? Is Ted here today?
No, that's our. Oh, that's Dave.
What
On
we'll
my
do
mind.
is, when we give out the phone cards and stuff that he recorded, it'll just be, you can't, unfortunately, you can't say to call the show blah, 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 because it'll be redundant when you go into the card, so that's another specific thing. But all these people
Go, John. If nothing else, it would be different if you decided to quit. You'd still go to the ballpark.
Oh, okay. No guesses. Now,
Well-
aren't we going right back into the same
No,
show?
into this one.
Did we bring the material with us?
Did we? Oh no, we should get the material,
We
shouldn't
should
we?
get the material.
Right back.
Let's get the material. Where's Ken
Hey,
Bob?
Thomas.
Hi, Bobby. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. I'll give you an elbow.
Okay, how's everything?
So, you know, I do a little of this, I do a little of that.
Keep waiting for something big to happen.
I do a little Late Show, I do a
Yeah,
little
I know.
Larry King, a little of this. You know, I said to Seb the other day, because he's bellyaching, because I won't do anything for Channel 7, and I'm still under contract there. I said, you know, Seb, you should be happy. I said, you're the only guy in America that's got a signed deal with me, and everybody else, where I go, they want one.
How long are you going to stay there?
Till I find something to do. I'm there for 18 more months.
No, you really? You don't have to do anything. You just television thing.
Yeah, but if
Hello, Tom.
Hi, how are you, Ken?
Good.
That's no fun.
Hello.
Hello.
So I wait for people. Larry King had a heart attack. I did a week there. You know, if you get sick, I'll, you know, God forbid, come over and do whatever you want me to. I have to go now. They have,
Yeah, go ahead.
I have excitement today. I have cancer, street gangs, and AIDS.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, is
What a
this it here?
show.
Is this it here?
Is that your show? Yes, yes. And through this door left, to the
Over
left.
here.
Not help hold it. It's a heavy door. You got it.
Oh, the big one.
Yeah, yeah.
Dogs sprayed with Hearts Blockade remain pest-free, while unsprayed dogs became infested.
Have a seat right
Hearts
there.
Blockade,
And Jeff will
the
join you
that's
at this end.
guaranteed to keep fleas
And
and
what you
ticks
got
off
here
your
is you've
pet
got
or your money
the
back.
names,
Blockade
where they're
creates
calling
invisible
from, and
barrier
usually what they're
that
calling
protects
about.
pests before they get
And
on your
feel
pet.
free
Blockade
during the
protects
show,
your pet
if
like
you
no other
use it as
product
kind of
on
a
the
menu,
market.
if you see
Hearts
something you'd
Blockade,
rather
your
have
pet's best
that's
friend.
down here moved out, let us know. But don't let us know in the breaks, because we can't do anything about it during while you're on live. So, but just play it by ear and have fun. Brian, you want to?
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you?
I'm Lyle. It's great to have you here
Thank you
today.
very much.
Lyle will be doing the calls.
Participating dealers by
July
July
2nd.
2nd.
You bet.
$1,500
three
cash
guests.
back. $1,500 factory cash back on a super.
Yeah, there'll be a music bed opening, the whole
Greyhound
thing.
says
They'll
it's taking
cue you,
over
Tom, and then just
Trailways
go into
before
whatever
Trailways.
opening you want to do.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Here's your former gang member's name right there. Mary Ann Diaz Parker. You have a pen, you want to do?
Yeah, I got everything I need here, except bring in the ashtray from the office.
Okay. Brian? Is Brian there?
Now, we move at 11 o'clock somewhere else, don't we?
Yeah, we shift over to the other studio then. Ryan,
I'll get you an
can you
ashtray.
get the ashtray, please?
Oh, I'll get you. You must be Mary Ann. Hi, Mary Ann. I'm Tom. How are you today? Nice
I
to
see you all the time on TV.
Let's see, why don't we
Okay.
have Mr. Hahn?
How are you? How are you, James? How's your pop, okay?
Yeah, come on.
That's terrific.
Welcome.
Oh, that's terrific.
Let me get back in there while I'm asking Gil.
It's a little different.
Tom, this is Tony Masson.
Hello, Tony. How are you? Nice to see you.
Right here.
Okay.
You all have headphone volumes. Well, could you go
So you weren't at Spago yesterday or today?
No, I missed that birthday party.
At the end of the court. There's it right there. There you go.
Enjoy. Thank you all for being here.
Rachel, we'll be using the number card, okay? Tom, do you want to use the number cards for the local hours, or do you want to just ad-lib it through here? We've got it on cards. So
Well, when does it play?
Well, what we'll do in the opening, you'll do your opening, then why don't we, before we start, say, and if you'd like to participate, here's how you can do it.
And then I do all this?
Do you want to do it live? We've got it on card already.
Let's do it on card.
We'll be using it on card, okay? So.
All right, all right, I'll do it, but I don't have to say all the cities. do I?
No, in fact, you can pick and choose. I mean, it's one of these things where you can say Alhambra, give that number, then jump down Gardena.
Okay.
Do you want to do it that way?
I'll just do it.
Switch that. We'll do it live. We'll do them live.
So we start up and we give the numbers and then we go into the first hour's topic, right?
And just go ahead and intro the guests. Our first break is at 9:13, so.
Okay.
But it's not mandatory. What I'll do, Tom, is just hold a card right about the time that the break is, so you can just get into discussion.
Okay. Thank you very much, and once again, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tom in Los Angeles for Michael Jackson on KABC Talk Radio 79, the 19th of June. And we have a full lineup for you today, gang. The producers of The Michael Jackson Show, and I thank him for allowing me to share the hall this morning, have lined up some interesting topics. At noon today, Steve Allen will join us. Steve has a new book out on comedy. If you'd like to be a comedian, Steve will tell you how to tell jokes. I always thought that comedians tried to keep their jokes a secret, but today at noon, Steve will reveal most of his secrets, or some. And the 11 o'clock hour today, cancer, and what has American medicine done over the past 20 or 25 years to effect a better treatment and cure for cancer. We'll touch on that. At 10 o'clock, America's Doctor, Dr. Art Uline, with his new book on safe sex in the age of AIDS. And we start this morning with the problems being caused by street gangs in Southern California. You know, those of us who live in this community or who live here in the West feel that somehow we have been blessed with...
I haven't done it that long. Being a father, you're real dorky, you know? I don't know.
I've seen you with kids. You're great.
Having a kid...
Kids like being dribbled.
I don't know. I just... With the way things are nowadays, I just envision my like, I'll be this guy, you know, going, how come your friends never come into the house? What, are you embarrassed of the old man? What, are you embarrassed? Oh, Dad, that's my father. He's so queer. What, you ashamed of the old man? I'll tell you, that acting crazy, that paid for your braces. Get in the house.
Why can't you grow up and be crazy like your old man?
Yeah, I know. My kid will be some...
I mean, the kid will probably be like a lawyer.
Children grow up to disappoint their parents, so yeah, mine will be some yuppie floppy disk kid. Yeah. You afraid of the old man? Come on in here. We're gonna watch Police Academy 30. Sit down.
By the way, I've been meaning to talk to you about that. How many of those are you gonna make?
I don't know. Let's see. As Kazurinsky said to me once when I was haggling over doing Police Lobotomy 4, he said, Bob, money is like socks and underwear. You just can't have enough. So, I'd just say a couple more drawers. No, I think on Police Lobotomy 4 they finished the series. Come on, it opened in a video cassette store. It was like, let's cut out the middleman. Let's cut out the theater. Just go to the rentals. You know.
Yeah.
I think it was the first one.
There's going to be another one, isn't there?
I think it's
the
like...
public is anxiously waiting to...
It's like Jason. I think you can't stop it. But I always say I'm not going to do it. So this one I'm going to say I'm going to do it, and I probably won't. So I hope they make my movie. I've been writing a film with Kazurinsky called The Road to Ruin. We pitched it. This is really... We walk in a room and I go, okay, what's worse than being the last guy on the planet? And they go, being second from last if you had to hang out with me, right? They go, here's the money, have fun, go make it.
Yeah.
So I hope that
Joshua here's a big fan of yours. Joshua is one of the stars of River's Edge. Have you heard of that? That's
How you doing?
It's not exactly a police academy, but
River's
it's a
Edge,
good film.
that's kind of a screwball comedy. Is that right? It seems pretty upbeat, everything I hear from about it.
The reviews are upbeat, but the pictures, I mean, very depressing. I mean, it's sort of a drama, it's not a comedy.
It's not.
But there is comedy.
You don't play the corpse, do you?
No.
Pretty much, isn't it? A kid dies and his friends come back and poke it with a stick. I mean, we used to do that with roadkill. Things have changed. When it was my age, you did that with a dog. Now you do it with stew.
He could write the comedy.
Has anyone seen Gurn?
Now, Neil Jimenez back there wrote the screenplay to River's Edge and is currently about to put a film out called Son of Elvis.
Are you serious?
Yeah, about a guy who believes he's Elvis's son.
No, it's about a woman who thinks she has the son of Elvis through immaculate conception.
Well, that's the part for you.
Is it based on a true story?
Well, my mom doesn't like to hear this, but...
Yeah? God, I mean, if you're going to have Elvis's kid, at least, have some fun doing it.
She goes to a concert, she touches him.
Oh.
It's very... The shot looks like Michelangelo's creation of man.
Who's playing Elvis's hand? See, that's why Elvis should have worn gloves. It's the same sex, I had my friend Lance, right? He pounded out a kid at the same time I did. Lance calls me up, he says, about 2 o'clock in the morning, he says, what are you going to do when she's older, like when she's 14, what are you going to do? I go, what do you mean, what am I going to do? Because, the first guy who, tries to get her, God, that wouldn't bother me. What do you mean? That doesn't, because that wouldn't bother you. The first guy wouldn't bother you. I go, no, I hope my daughter experiences everything that there is. The first guy wouldn't bother me. He goes, well, what would bother you? I said, number 200. I'm going to kill him. First guy with a van. Is your daughter home? Boom! Last thing, by the time my daughter goes up there, there won't even be sex, it'll be like shaking hands, I think she likes me. She shook my hand. She went all the way, she didn't have a glove on or nothing.
What's going on? I mean, what kind of guy would you hate to see her showing up at your front door with?
Huey Lewis. It's hit the P square, Mr. Goldwaith. Come here, you little puke.
We gotta go to the news. We'll be back in a moment with Bob Goldwaith, Joshua Miller, Neil Jimenez, and hello, Susan.
Oh, that was Jack Daniels? I thought it was a cola beverage. God, this is mighty strong tea.
I didn't know what I was doing. I was like 7 years old, and I went to the wine cabinet. The babysitter was upstairs, and I suddenly started drinking everything. And then all I remember is being pumped in the stomach in the hospital. I was just serious.
Oh, man. This is a good
That was pretty well.
You'll never have experience like that.
In the old days, that used to be pretty well a good night for Bob.
I could usually convince the babysitter to join me. 7 years old, getting liquored up on Drano.
Come here, come here.
It's no wonder you're not a sniper, pal.
I think she was like kicked out of her school or something.
I know, she doesn't sound like, it's right there, pal. I'm gonna be dead. They're out the window by now. They've cut the back of my tendons, But, yeah.
Pretty well kneecapped, yeah. We got to take a break here for some spots, and we'll be right back from Hollywood. Bob Goldwaith, Joshua Miller, Neil.
I'm trying to go in here. At least I'm not going to the bathroom in mine,
Anyway, listen, Alex, the Michael Snyder Entertainment Report, as ever, is brought to you by American Rag, 1355 Bush in San Francisco between Polk and Larkin, where you can get great new and vintage clothes. Thanks for having me on as usual, and I hope you're enjoying L.A.
All right, we certainly are, and
bye, Michael. Good talking to you.
And we'll be back.
You bet.
Let's do this last stop set, and then we'll come back and wrap this whole thing up. This wonderful thing being done here from Hollywood, brought to you by the wonderful people at Amstel Light. Those incredible people who gave us those
No artificial anything.
Well, that pretty much takes care of the commercials. We got about 4 or 5 minutes left here, and I really, it's really a pleasure because we spent so much time together on radio. We must spend hundreds of hours on radio together.
We have spent. Let's cut the charade. You never liked me, and I never liked you.
Yeah, I hated you.
We're not in Hollywood. We're down on Polk right now. And this is just an old tape of one of our shows together that you edited.
We are running old shows, however. We have the Best of Bennett, and occasionally you show up. And one thing.
I only rear my ugly head occasionally on the Best of Bennett.
Well, every other day, as a matter of fact.
I'd like to know on the Best of Bobcat, Alex Bennett's name is there all the time. And me smashing the rat is Alex Bennett a highlight.
This guy.
How about the time? What about that time I was playing baseball with the bass? And you're doing something remote, and I brought this big cart from Chinatown with me.
Dave, could you bring Bob's mic up a little bit? I think he's a little too hollow there.
You can't hear me? That's never happened before in show business.
Well, I was going to say is that you...
Heaven forbid if they miss any of my pithy nuances.
No, he do that again.
No, I think there's enough blood in everyone's ears.
Yeah, right. Okay. Anyway, no, what happened was we were doing a thing, where was it? It was down in Palo Alto. It was like a clothing store.
Yeah, it's a clothing store.
He shows up, he decides...
With a live fish.
A live fish. Tell him how he kept the thing alive all night in a hotel room.
Yeah, I bought it in Chinatown about 5 in the morning. I kept it alive in this hotel room, and then the maid comes in. Good morning. There's this carp in the bathtub.
So now he puts this thing in like a bag full of water.
And bring it down to the show.
In a limo.
And I come out, and then I was putting cigarettes in its mouth, and it was like smoking.
Now this carp is
because
alive.
the fish smokes.
And
no one tries it enough, but it goes. And you put a cigarette in his mouth, and he was smoking on the air. Then he wasn't gonna make it, so we just started playing fish ball, where I was just batting with the thing, knocking the ball around.
This fish is dying, ladies and gentlemen.
And I was playing, and everyone's going, oh, geez, the poor fish. Hey, smell the coffee. What do you think? The chickens at Colonel Sanders goes, I'm getting kind of old. Why don't you fillet me? I mean...
So now he's playing baseball with this live fish, right? Oh, it was...
In a clothing store.
In a clothing store. An expensive clothing store, I might add.
Geez, what's this red stuff? It must be art.
Yeah, it's the Playmate of the Month.
A little
it's
fish
art.
puke.
Anyway.
Well, you had the Playmate of the Month down here?
Just
you missed it. Of the year. The whole year. So, is there anyone underneath there in case, photos of her are found clothed somewhere?
No, she's a virgin.
We discovered these pictures of you with clothes on. You're no longer the Playmate.
No, she's a virgin. There's no one underneath her. But anyway, seriously.
She's a virgin?
Folks. Yeah.
Yeah?
Isn't that refreshing?
Yeah, maybe baby Jesus will come in her or something.
It's good to see you again.
I didn't mean it that way. Come on, you guys Joe Innuendo heads, shut up.
You know, we're trying to run a clean show here. This audience with their filthy
I know. I gotta mention
have to
we're
drag
not
it
talking
down.
sex, you'll hear me. I never talk about sex, do I? You never hear me. I never talk about sex.
Never. I've never known you to talk about sex.
It's not funny. It's just not funny
it's
to
not
me.
the way you do it.
Well, thank you very much. That's quite a compliment.
Yeah. You take it seriously.
I do it the old Hasidic way. I have 2 sheets and cut a little hole. The KKK way or something. I was in Ohio playing next to the Imperial Wizard's house. Oh, I went over like gangbusters. I go, I don't understand. The KKK, it's like the Murray Langston, the unknown comic of hate. They put a bag on your head and then they say how they really feel.
Well, they're going to cut our satellite feed in a second now. So I got to say about this. I hope we can do this more. Well, come on up to San Francisco.
Music system in your automobile can ride in?
I was going to tell you a dirty joke now.
Go ahead. No.
You heard that Gary Hart, Richard Nixon, and Jim Baker were all on a ship last week and started sinking, and everybody was looking at all three going, what do we do? Gary Hart said, women and children first. Richard Nixon said, fuck the women and children. Jim Baker said, praise the Lord, but do we have time? Tom? Mr. Allen?
Hi, Steve. How are you doing? I'm terrific, thanks.
So you go here?
Wherever you like. Wherever you want. Why don't you go right there, because we can look at each other. Is that okay?
Good deal. Hi. Again.
When this gets going, when we get back on the air in LA, I was at the KTLA party that you came in very graciously when they did KTLA.
Down at the museum.
Yeah.
That was fun.
And you said something about the early days of television. Most of it was lousy.
Yeah. It was. Question is how much you can improve.
That's your volume right here.
Thank you.
Enjoy. Thank you for being here.
Once again, hello everybody everywhere. This is Tom Snyder sitting in for Michael Jackson on Talk Radio on Friday, the 19th of June, 1987. As we enter the fourth hour of our telethon here, we're only up to $6,352,475. You people who listen around the country may not know, but Mr. Jackson is on the air locally here in, I'm not allowed to say the name of this city for the next hour. Curiously, this program, I'll let you in, gang, on a big secret. The Michael Jackson Show, and they're all shaking their heads behind the glass now. Is he really going to give this away? The Michael Jackson Show originates in Los Angeles, California. Now you know, America. We can never say out here in California because where are we supposed to be? In a basement in Guam, for heaven's sake? I mean, is this a major secret as to where we broadcast from? What's the matter here? And if I say Los Angeles, what are they going to do? Not let me come back on Monday? Anyway, Mr. Jackson does 4 hours a day here in this studio with 4 different guests and 4 different sets of research and questions and calls and comments. And as I sit here about to introduce the last guest of the day, Mr. Steve Allen, I am in awe of Michael Jackson's ability to come in here Monday through Friday, 48 weeks a year, and keep this all straight, not only in his own head, but all straight for you. And Michael returns on Monday. I don't have to give you a long introduction on Steve Allen, who invented many things that have appeared on radio and television over the past decades in this country, and who has continually amazed me and most of America with his ability to always do something different, whether it be in music, in comedy, in fiction, or in causes in which he believes. Steve has a book out now, which he's done with Jane Wallman, which is called How to Be Funny, Discovering the Comic in You. And Steve, thank you for coming in today.
Thank you, Tom. My pleasure. Of course, I'm very easily pleased, but
I read a quote in the material that was sent over by the publisher, in that people have asked you why you laugh at your ad-libs, and I love your answer. It's the first time you've heard them as well.
Yes, I don't laugh at jokes I've done a million times. Why would I? But if something is really fast and it comes out, as you just said, I never heard that before, and it's my kind of stuff, so I like it.
If people buy this book, How to Be Funny, Discovering the Comic You, do you guarantee that anybody, anywhere, no matter how dull their sense of humor might be, can stand up and wow them at parties?
No, that would be an exaggeration. We approach that ideal, but that, as I say, would be to exaggerate. All the book can guarantee is to make you funnier than you were before you read it. Some people have a gift for funniness, or there's something wrong with them, and as a result of that, they're perceived as funny, as the case may be. And others are pretty square. But I have literally never met a totally humorless person. People are very sober, sometimes depressed. But since comedy, as we mentioned in the book, comes from tragedy and deals with tragedy, even if you're in a war or you're fatally ill, whatever it is, there is always some element that you can make humor out of.
Gallows humor?
Some of it is, yeah, but then we live on the gallows. I didn't plan this universe, but there's a lot of tragedy in life, and that is why comedy is so extremely important.
Years ago, George Carlin was on The Tonight Show as a guest host one night, and he was talking about this very thing, how comedy and tragedy are so close. How many times have you heard somebody say, laugh, I thought I'd die?
Yes.
Or I'm dying.
Sure.
Or this guy is killing me.
Yes.
So there is that link between comedy and tragedy.
That reminds me of a funny, because true, thing that comedian Jan Murray, I identify him because you and I know who he is, but if 12-year-old people listen, they might not know. Anyway, true story. He was told by one of his sons just a few years ago that when the little boy was 6 and 8 and 9, he loved his father, but he was a little afraid of him and not totally at ease in his company. And it finally came out. I don't know whether it was analysis or how it developed. Because Jan would come home at 3 or 4 in the morning or whatever, and the kid would hear him talking to Mama, to Jan's wife. How did it go, honey? I killed him. I murdered him. I slaughtered him. I laid him out. This is comedy talk. So there is that connection, as you say, between the rough realities of life and having fun with it.
Most comedians are terribly possessive of their own material. Burl and Henny Youngman and all...
Burl is possessive of everybody's material.
But you hear even Hope and all of them talk about stealing jokes from each other, and comedians, I guess, there's an unwritten rule that you shouldn't steal another person's jokes.
Better if you didn't.
Now here you are writing a book in which you're giving away the secrets of comedy, how to swap situations, how to turn a point, how to write a routine, what to base it on. Aren't you being traitorous to comedians here?
I haven't had that reaction from any of them.
Well, you're going to get it, Steve.
Starting right now. No, the jokes I give away here are all my own. A couple of people did say, "Boy, you're giving away some of your best jokes. Maybe the next time you get up at a club, they'll laugh a little less because they've already read the book." That's a reasonable worry, but it turns out not to conform to the realities. The point is really proved when you think of the comedians who do comedy albums sort of for a living. Bill Cosby would be a classic instance. George Carlin, Lenny Bruce have been scores have done that. Now, I would be a little reluctant to give away some of my strongest routines that way because people are now hearing the whole 8-minute bit, and yet it turns out not to be a problem because at any given night, if there are 1,000 people in a room listening to you, maybe only 93 will have heard the album, so the other 900 and some are laughing. So it's not a real problem.
Plus, I also think if people have heard an album, if they come to see a live performance,
they want to hear it again.
Of course, it's like going to a musical. I want to hear you sing Oklahoma one more time.
Exactly, you got it.
Can you find humor in almost anything, do you think?
I think you can find humor in literally everything. You might say, you mean even death and disease and tragedy? Yes, exactly that. There was humor, I've been told, even in Dachau. There's what you said before, gallows humor. There's the humor that you encounter in prisons, in military life. There's nothing that can seem to stop humor from welling up because we need it to maintain our sanity.
Okay, we're talking with Steve Allen here on Talk Radio. We'll take a break right now and continue with Steve after some messages. I am Tom Snyder sitting in for Michael Jackson, and you're listening to Talk Radio.
Okay, so it was 1 minute off.
Yeah, only a minute off. They brought a guy in this morning, they said, this guy hates the law that the city attorney, Hahn, is preparing. The guy was sitting here, and I said, I understand, sir, that you hate this law. It's a terrible thing. He says, no, he says, I think it's a pretty good law.
Yeah. I'm sleepy today. I went to see Steve Martin's new movie last night, and I didn't get to sleep about.
How'd you like it?
It's a funny movie.
It's gotten great reviews.
Yeah, it deserves them. It's not perfect, but it's well worth seeing. A lot of funniness to it.
Does the nose look real?
Well,
no, Steve. It's not supposed to, I don't think. You're supposed to know it's
I'm into reality.
It's very well, whoever did the makeup did a great job, but it's a fantasy story, but done in oddly realistic terms. Very funny.
Okay, when we come back, then we're
yes, we do. Yeah, we reintroduce Steve Allen all over again.
How many stations would there be on hookup of this sort, if you have any idea?
I think 103 right now. And not New York.
All of them in Orange County.
Gas stations, comfort stations. Joke I did in 1948.
And I sold a lot of TV sets. My mother sold hers.
Generally, those jokes, the old jokes that become well known because they are very good jokes to begin with. They finally get.
Have you ever tracked down a joke? I mean, a joke that somebody didn't really write.
Let's not do the show now, Tom. Let's do the show when the people are listening.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Hey.
30 seconds. We got a reopened card here.
Yeah, we're going to participate, right? I'm going to have you play the phone card here, too. Okay, thank you. There's a lot going on here, I'll tell you. There's a lot going on.
Oh, yeah.
Want me to fire it, Tom, or you want to introduce it?
You did exactly what he's.
You had a great sense of humor, Tom.
The reason I chuckle is that I just talked with our staff here. I said, now when we come back on, let me just backtrack here. For those of you in Los Angeles, I'm going to introduce you to Steve Allen, but Steve Allen has already been introduced to the rest of the country while you were listening to Paul Harvey, okay? And unfortunately, Steve did much of his best material in the past. It's only a joke, folks. So anyway, now, I said, when I come back on here, when LA and some other cities rejoin us, then I should give the phone number again, right? And the guy says, yeah, you introduced the phone number. Well, the phone numbers are over already. I mean, it's already been done. And to repeat them again would be stupid. My guest today, please say hello to Steve Allen, who has done many things on television and radio, in the arts and music and in books over the past years, and who is the author with Jane Wallman of a brand new book which is called How to Be Funny, Discovering the Comic in You. A book designed, who would the audience be here? People who just want to improve their sense of humor or their sales presentations or what?
All of the above. I think when anybody writes a book, they generally hope that the audience will be the entire human race. That has never worked out yet, but that is at least the ideal. And I do think that everybody wants to be funnier. I don't see how Eddie Murphy could get any funnier, or Donald Duck, or whoever you laugh at. But most people have a sense of, just to put it simply, wanting to be funnier than they are, either to attract women or to be the life of the party or, get a job in show business, whatever it might be.
When you go out socially, do you feel any kind of pressure to be the Steve Allen that people have seen on television, that they want you to do funny stuff or shtick at parties?
I personally don't feel pressured, but I am at the same time aware that some of the people I meet expect me to be funny, and there's a strange reaction from that. Sometimes I will say something in all seriousness, or it's emotionally neutral. I'm just saying, may I have the salt, please, or something like that. And people laugh hysterically, and they say, did you hear what that crazy guy said? He said, when you pass the salt, hey, Steve, you're the greatest. And I look at them, the explanation, of course, is 35 years of conditioning. They've been laughing at you, so they think you're going to be funny no matter what you say. And then, of course, there are those who never thought you were funny at all, and they may be an even greater number.
I had the pleasure of being in the audience one night when Steve Allen was hosting a presentation for a television station in Southern California, KTLA, which was commemorating 40 years on the air. And Steve had been asked to come in and set the tone for the evening. And in talking about those early days of television, he said something that I thought was astounding because it was so true, and that most of the things we remember so fondly as the golden age of television were
pretty bad. Yeah.
Lousy was the word you used.
Yes, lousy, right. It depends, of course, what we mean by, quote, the golden age. Some of the big league network shows were terrific. I mean, Gleason was terrific, Sid Caesar, add to that whatever you want. But a lot of the local fare, and this was, as you mentioned,
Midwestern Hayride and the Frosty Frolics and all the shows that America saw, amateur theater, all those programs.
Yeah, most of that was pretty bad stuff and couldn't get on the air now. And television's not so great even now. So when I say that it was worse in the early, maybe from about 1948 to 55, it was pretty amateurish, basically.
If you could stand up and make your mouth move and have words come out and sing a song and tune, you were a television star.
Exactly, because since the medium has never existed before, you couldn't call on any television veterans. The term was meaningless. So they brought people out of radio, and if they were already doing good in radio, they were quite content. And largely, TV was hiring out-of-work people,
And still is.
Yes. Very true.
We are with Steve Allen, the author of How to Be Funny, Discovering the Comic in You. We'll take a break right here and then get to your calls. I'm Tom Snyder, sitting in for Michael Jackson. Where is WQB Kid?
You were here a minute ago.
What's the weather like outside? I've been outside.
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous, yeah.
The air is pretty dirty, but...
Was that what...
Sorry for the misunderstanding.
Hey, it gave me 3 minutes, didn't it?
Yeah.
Don't put it down.
You owe him one.
I owe you one.
I don't mind talking for a long time, but all the little details here could drive you crazy, I would think. you know, all the having to do 87 things at certain times.
Well, you ran your own board at one point in your life, didn't you? You must have run your own board on radio.
Yeah, but, you know, I screwed up. I played more green felt than any. The wheels were always slipping up. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. It's a 33. I thought it was
Larry King told a great story that I'd love to steal, where he was the all-night guy in Miami, and this lady kept calling him to come over. So finally, he got out the big 16-inch ET. You know, it was an hour and a half of music, and put it on. And he's at the moment in her apartment, 2 blocks from the radio station, and Sinatra sings, "In the still, in the still, in the still, in the still, in the still."
That's great. Those things can only happen in local radio, and I think everybody who's ever worked in it has 14 of those great stories.
Yeah.
I spent 3 years at a CBS station in Phoenix, and it was really more fun than a lot of the stuff I did later.
Yep.
The station that I worked at, one of the jocks locked themselves out of the station. For 2 hours, the record was just somebody could come with an extra key.
Well, remember the scene in the Buddy Holly story where the guy locked himself in the control room, the disc jockey, and kept playing Peggy Sue over and over?
Yeah.
Finally, the fire department came in and crashed the door, trying to get this moron out of there.
Yeah.
I used to write most of the commercial copy for the station, and I noticed early, whenever you have to stop, go ahead. I noticed very early that most of the announcers didn't know what the hell they were reading. It was just, blah, 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 blah. It's the last time you know this. You know, now it's 4:27. Go think. So I would every so often forge a commercial. I would take a piece of the commercial paper, type the first 4 or 5 lines straight, and then gradually get into not jokes, which they would have recognized, but meaningless gibberish, Twilight Zone. And then I would stick it in the announce book and it was scheduled for 6:22.
I'm writing all this down.
Yeah.
In case nobody calls.
I'd arm and laugh my head off.
Well, there's a newscaster who's well known who has trouble with the letter L, who used to work on Channel 4 here, broke off. And when the L1011 came out,
oh no,
the writers placed bets as to which page. And he would change it all to TriStar, and they'd change it all back to L1011 on the prompter. It's a cruel business. You die, you mother. Tom Snyder back on the air now with Steve Allen, and Al is on the air. Why don't you go ahead, please, Al? Hi. Hello, Al.
But right now, I don't remember any of them. It's true of all languages if you don't keep them up.
When Jane gets upset with you, does Chinese come out of her mouth?
You know what we sometimes do? She will speak to me in Chinese about, like, you know, how much should I tip or something that where she doesn't want the people we're with to know what she's saying. You know, Georgia Chan, which means how much money.
Would it be inappropriate to thank you on the air? You and Brian, or was that ever something? Thank you, though. Thank you. With a small pen.
Don't forget your cameraman.
This is not a television show, so, you know.
Tom.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Tom, would you like a copy of this tape? Want me to send you a copy of it? Don't you save these things?
No.
History?
Once they're gone, they're gone. Somebody once said, what were your most forgettable shows? I said, I've already forgotten. Gone.
One big blur.
30 seconds. Ten seconds.
WQBK 130 News Talk Radio.
Thank you very much. Back on the air with Steve Allen, Tom Snyder subbing for Michael Jackson. And I would be remiss here if I didn't at least ask Steve one question about his book, which is called How to Be Funny, Discovering the Comic You.
No problem.
And I fastened on ad-libbing because that's something that most people are terribly afraid of. They want it all written down in a speech or a presentation or a routine. And how would you overcome the fear of just saying what comes to your mind and it's going to be okay?
Well, first you're concerned with fear itself. Sometimes you can talk through a fear and explain why it's silly to be afraid of something, and then the person will say, oh, thank you, and not be afraid anymore. But it's not always that easy. Some people have a serious, almost a phobia about public speaking of any kind.
Right.
And that does take quite a lot of work. I was petrified. I was sick with fear when I was about 12 years old and made my first public address to another class in school. But it was never that bad again, and now I'm not conscious really of being nervous at all when I speak or entertain. I feel a kind of a heightened energy, but I don't think that's the same as being nervous.
But when you throw a one-liner out and you ad-lib in a situation such as this, whether it's on radio or television,
Yeah.
you don't stop to think if it's going to be funny or not. You just let it go, don't you?
That's true. That's exactly right. But then again, I have the benefit of having been horsing around, in public since I was about 10 or so. But one thing to learn about this is that we all ad-lib. When you get out of bed in the morning, whoever you are, your mother doesn't walk up to the bed and say, honey, here's your script for Thursday. You just say things like such as, what time is the oatmeal going to be hot, without having to have a script or a cue card to read that. So we all ad-lib all day long. But you might say, oh, sure, but ad-libbing funny, what about that? Well, in the earlier chapters of the book, there are explanations of how jokes are constructed. And I find the American people very funny. Now I don't speak Swedish or Eskimo, so I may be, saying something unscientific here. But it may be that people all over the world are kind of funny, and they are ad-libbing that funniness. It may not be the greatest joke, better than anything Fred Allen ever wrote, but if he gets a laugh from the other three guys on the bus, it's funny.
He took the feather and the anvil out to the middle of the desert, and he messed up the anvil, right?
They got a big laugh from me,
Okay.
Sure.
Let's go to Ray, who's on the air now on Talk Radio. Why don't you go ahead, Ray? Hello.
Yes, Ray. It's good to be talked to. Well, I've done better since then, Ray. Believe it or not, I'm very hazy on that. I remember the show clearly, and there was a fellow named Earl, a very good jazz guitar player, and he was possibly from Texas or somewhere around there.
How long ago are we talking about here?
1946 and 47.
Oh, it would be a little hazy, wouldn't it?
Yes. After 40 years, not every detail is...
In one of the breaks here, and I've got a couple of minutes, I'd like to just have you tell this story about when you wrote commercial... How much time do I have? I have, Steve, 30 seconds would not do this story justice, believe me.
I'll come back some other day.
Thank you. Well, I hope you will. I really enjoyed this hour on what's been a day of crisis and identity here. And my guest has been Steve Allen, who along with Jane Wallman is the author of How to Be Funny, Discovering the Comic You. My thanks to the producers, Jeff Bowers and Brian Green, for making this possible. Michael Jackson back on Monday. This is Talk Radio.
Thank you, Tom.
Was that outstanding?
That was wonderful.
Thank you. That was funny.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Outstanding job.
Thank you.
Outstanding.
Yeah, there aren't too many people that can do this.
Can we go home now?
Yeah.
Can we eat?
Should I get one picture with the two of you?
Yes,
That'd be great.
Good afternoons from 4 till 7, where the games people play are still fun. Keep it together while you're on the road with KABC.
I'm Lyle. I'm Michael's on-air producer. Can I leave this here right there, by the way? I'll take it in. I have to ask you a question. Yeah, as I said, my last name's Gregory, too. Do you have any relatives at all in Tennessee or yeah, where? Bell, Tennessee, that's where all of them come from. Well, all my people are from Hartsville. It's a little tobacco town up there. Yeah, well, they probably went back to the slave tent. Oh, yeah, my people. They're all dirt poor.
You're working up a routine here.
No, we from my daddy's people from Bell, Tennessee. Really? It's about 60 miles from Memphis. I'll be darned. 60 miles. You ever get back there anymore? I never did spend that much time. I've been there about twice to see him because I never was that close with my father. But I know they were from that far.
Right. It's an honor to have you here with us. Diners Club. Call 1-800-DINERS-1. That's 1-800-DIM.
All right, sir.
Rewards on anyone. What's that?
Or the ABC Information Network on
Yeah.
Cape Town.
That's brilliant.
Bill, join us for lunch.
Kidding? I'm not going to get slapped
I gotta
again.
fill out these health plan forms. There's so many, even my paperwork is paperwork.
No, that's too expensive. Film, don't be silly. It's too expensive.
You're way clear. I'm Ken Lewis, Vice President of Operations, and everything
Our theme, the Jackson at 11 feet, 1 hour from now, will be straighten up and fly right. In other words, a little while, as long as he has, is Dick Gregory. If you care to speak with him, all our phone numbers end at TALK. The prefix in Los Angeles, 5.
Good morning. I want to give my opinion.
I'd like to hear it, sir.
We have had no major plane wrecks this year in America. And it's August. Last year we've had several. But we have so many people that seem to be complaining about near miss. And every time I get on the plane, I call and say, y'all got any near misses headed to LA? The plane safety at all. And I'm on planes every day.
Let me switch from prophet to prophet for a moment. I remember the calls I used to make to you when you were fasting in Tehran, Iran. And I remember the Shah of Iran saying words to this effect: as bad as you may think I am, and he didn't word it this way, but this was the idea, it's going to be 1,000 years from now before we're going to be able to get the people of Iran together as I was able to. How would you respond to that? Again, that's really a paraphrase, but what do you make of what's ongoing now?
Oh, I think I would answer that the same way I think I answered you once when you called me. We called every day.
I know.
And I said, if you would go back to the early American Revolution and you see the hostility that's always there and trying to put a system together, you suspect everybody. You suspect the people around you. You can't work a system without keeping some of the people there. So you suspect all kinds of things that happen. And I thought about when we threw the British tea in the water, and I'm sure that the British was going through the same changes that we're going through with Iran. But I think we made some serious mistakes. I think, one, we didn't understand the Koran. We didn't understand that, that when you fight a war and you, in that persuasion and religion, when you die, you go straight to heaven if you fight in Satan. So I think, we made a lot of mistakes. I tell you what bothers me the most, though, and I'm trying to say this without sounding like I'm choosing sides. The Iraq attacked Iran. Iraq shot ships first in the Persian Gulf. The only American ship that's been hit badly was by Iraq. And to look at the news come out of there, you would think it was just the other way around. And now, the interesting thing in saying this to you, I can say this, I said this to a guy in Denver, and he went out because he didn't know. What do you mean, But anybody
they began the war.
Iraq
has been instigating most of the violence in the Gulf thus far. And as I pointed out in my conversation earlier this morning with Mark Russell and with others, we're supporting Kuwaiti ships, but we're not helping or aiding American ships that happen to be flying flags of convenience elsewhere.
Now, let me run something past you and tell me, I want to ask you a question. I've never asked you a question, right?
That's true.
I want to tune into your prophology. How about that one?
Prophology?
Yep. Hi. Now,
Studentology.
Now, let me let you be Iran for a minute.
Okay.
You fighting a war for life, because if you lose this one, it's over. Okay? It's a life and death struggle with Iraq. Okay? And I'm America, and I'm illegally slipping you arms, selling them to you. Okay? And I'm the only one can do this because you got my equipment and the Russians can't give you spare parts. Okay? And one day the world finds out that America and the Reagan administration is dealing with Iran. But what the world seemed to have forgotten, especially America, that it was the Iranians that told us.
Okay, now, I'm Iran. It's very difficult for me to give that point of view. Because if I'm very honest, I may say to you, I don't know if I want peace with Iraq yet. Because of what you've just said to me. It is your assessment that it's the end for my country if I don't win this war.
That's right.
But Iraq has already said we want peace. So why not let the United Nations come in? Why not let...
No, I'm backing up for a minute. You ahead of me. That's the next question. I'm saying
the world has found out we provided some arms.
And all at once the Reagan administration's in trouble. I'm saying there's more to this than what they're telling us, because why would you, a nation that's fighting for your life, tell the world that I'm supplying you with arms? Okay? We didn't find this out on our own. The Iranians told us. And the people that told us have not been put before the firing squad. So evidently they not looked upon as traitors. So I'm saying that's the one piece about the whole country affair I don't understand.
Really? No, to me that seems fairly simple, and simple may not be accurate. And that is, my name is Khomeini, and I'm playing you guys like yo-yos. I've got you doing my bidding. I know eventually that story is going to get out, so I'll be the first to do it, and I'll embarrass the daylights out of the United States again.
That I can handle that if you wasn't fighting for your life. You can't get your equipment cut off. Once your equipment gets cut off, then you're in trouble with the war.
That does seem a dumb move.
Well, maybe
from
it's
that
not.
standpoint.
Maybe the equipment haven't been cut off. Okay, they're not fighting no less now. And maybe I come to you and I tell you, if you do me a favor and do this for me, I'll give you more. You see, we kept hearing Colonel North talk about that other group out there that's wild and out the way. I call it the luckiest group in the world, because the day that Casey was on his way to testify, he came down with a brain tumor, and the day the hearings opened up, that's the day he conveniently died. Now, I'm not going to get involved, please, in that.
You've already got involved by what you just said.
I'm just saying conveniently. The day, not the day before or the day after, but the day of the hearing.
So you're saying the luckiest man alive isn't?
That's right. Brother Old Robert said that he could raise the dead. I know Colonel North and Pondexter probably got scared, because if Casey came back, I'm not going to get into that.
No, because I'm in trouble again. I'm speaking with Dick Gregory. Our phone number in Los Angeles, 520-TALKN. In just a moment, we'll start. Good morning, Karen.
Good morning, and good morning, Dick Gregory.
Good morning. God bless you.
I want to tell you something. Oh, I love your comment about raising the dead. I just love that. I have to tell you that...
Well, I have to tell you this. I got a cousin raised the dead every day and dress him, but he works at a funeral home.
Well, wait a minute. I thought you said raising the dead. No, I'd have cut that off your hair if I'd known.
Oh, no, this would even be more outrageous. I had the pleasure in the late 1960s when I was in Ventura County of working for you and working very hard for you for the
presidential campaign.
And you came out there and spoke, and I was so pleased to meet you. I want to tell you that as the years go on and the insanity seems to grow, it's so good to know there's somebody there like you.
Thank you. That's kind. There's a lot of people out there.
Oh, there are some, yes, but I don't hear enough of you and what you're doing. I'm so grateful to Michael. Thank you, Michael, for having me on this morning.
I'm honored. He just lectured me for the first time in probably the last 20 years.
That's right.
I didn't call him at home at Christmas time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He said he no longer believes in me.
I'd like to be able to do that.
That's me.
What are you doing these days besides what you're doing right now on Michael's show? And also, how can anybody get a hold of you? And is there someplace one can write or whatever? I'd like to know that.
I have the Dick Gregory Health Enterprises. We're really doing a 40-city tour talking about health and nutrition, and it's really saying to all America, particularly aimed at the black community, because when you look at what's happening in the black community, I'll give you a quick example. We black folks in America, less than 12% of America's population, but right this day, as we talk, over 60% of everybody on kidney dialysis machines in America is black.
Is that really the figure?
That's really the figure. Yes, and that's the stress.
Why? What stress?
Tolerating the system, lying to yourself, and believing that the problem was me. I just needed to be educated, and then after you get educated, same thing with the suicide rate. The suicide rate among adult Americans, I'm not talking about that young rate now. Adult Americans, the highest suicide rate is black folks, and 93% of all black adult suicides went to white colleges. There's that whole piece, and now we're beginning to look at it. And
what do you get from that? I'm being
prepared for life, and one of the number one problems I'm going to be confronted with is my blackness, and there's not one course on how to deal with racism 101. And that's the only piece I go out.
Well, Karen, do you mind if I utilize your time?
Well, can I write to the station and get a letter to you? Is that it, or what?
Pleasure. Or do you have a central address?
That'll be fine. If you write, let me tell you, Plymouth Rock, where the Pilgrims landed, I live there. If you write Dick Gregory, Plymouth Rock, the cops would love to bring it out to me.
Oh, that's great. And by the way, I've still got my Dick Gregory for President button.
I love it. Thank you. But no, don't stop now. You have to finish this. I'm talking to Michael. Man, you have to finish this.
What?
What you was going to tell her. Something. I said something. You was going to say something.
Everybody's a producer. Okay, I'm worried about these statistics and figures that you give me. Are we saying then that with education... No, I know what I was going to get to. Is ethnic studies the answer? Because I remember somebody asking me on the air about the worth of ethnic studies. And I said with Perhaps facetiously, but I think I also meant it. Yeah. No, it'll equip you wonderfully to teach somebody else ethnic studies. I thought so much emphasis went.
We know Rock Hudson, but the lover haven't. So I keep saying, well, what's everybody scared of? I mean, what's the whole bit? I mean, what is this? And then one day, with the fear, and I was scared too. And you know, when I heard the Surgeon General say the only way you can be guaranteed to have sex without the fear of AIDS is, he said condos, and that's a word we don't use in the ghetto. But I thought he said condoms. He said condoms, I thought he said condos. So I said to my wife, aren't you glad we just bought 2? And she said he didn't say that, you know.
The rotten hope.
But think about it.
Do you ever want to go back on the stage and be funny?
No. I missed the stage for one reason. No. There is no adrenaline in the whole world like up on that stage doing it. You know, out there. There's no feeling to take the place.
I wouldn't mind if the audience walked out. It's if they got up and walked towards me, I'd start worrying.
Oh, yeah.
John
it's
never
fun.
takes any.
Really?
Let me just go back, because I was telling my friends, that's how I met you.
Yep.
We would cut shows short so we could go and listen to the radio.
Oh, the Hungry Eye.
At the Hungry Eye? Yes, at the Hungry Eye.
Who's that?
You and Mort were there, and across the street of the Purple Onion.
Purple Onion.
It was
Phyllis Dillard.
Phyllis was getting 175
That's
a week.
Right.
And the Smothers Brothers were marching to Pretoria.
That's right.
Still doing that. And Enrico Banducci was saying, I own it all.
Yep.
But he was wrong. The Kingston Trio owned it all.
Yep, and the Chinese really owned that club.
Did they?
Yes. I didn't know that till one day I needed $25,000 and he says, go see them.
Starting another tongue war. Our guest, Dick Gregory. Our phone number for whatever's on your mind, from health to AIDS to foreign policy, 520-TALK, San Fernando Valley 990-TALK. Oh, wait a moment, I want to get into literally what you're doing about
Okay,
health.
fine.
South Bay is 679-TALK and Compton 639-TALK. 10:28 the time. Liz, you're on KABC with Dick Gregory.
Good morning, Michael.
Morning.
And good morning, Dick.
Good morning. God bless you, Liz. How are you?
Oh, I'm just enjoying this magic between you and Michael. And I always enjoy Michael when you have Dick on. And please have him on more frequently.
It's up to him.
Okay, but what I would like to talk about, I think one of the biggest problems might be when Dick was talking about the stress rate. Dick, what do you think can be done? I think you have a beautiful family, but what do you think can be done about the stress rate in the black community, or about the fact of the low self-esteem? Do you think shows like Bill Crosby has helped in making it more people more enlightened, that there is more to the black family than the negativism? Because I think we need more people like you back on the air. Because
Liz, could he answer you? He has to leave in about 10 minutes.
I think that, you know, the shows are getting better, but the answer is not television. One of the causes is it's just a black child. Well, children in America at 15 years old have like 18,000 hours of television etched in their memory bank, and black children have about 22,000 hours. I think one of the problems is too much television, and that's because of poverty. No money, don't go on vacation, no place to go in the neighborhood to play. I think where we have to start, and let me just say this to you real quick. Elijah Muhammad came through the black community and took our drug addict mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters and nieces and nephews and aunts and cousins. And when he left, when he took them, they had pockmarked faces and bloodshot eyes. And when he gave them back to us, their faces were smooth as velvet, and their eyes was as white as snow. And they didn't have a drug addiction or alcohol or nicotine or caffeine. And if you listen to him, he kept saying, how to eat to live. How to eat to live. And I say to you, dear, that the number one problem in the black community is the way we eat.
And could I make an assessment?
Yes.
You talked about, Liz talked about, with the best of intent, other people appreciating black people more through possibly watching television. Well, isn't the number one message appreciating oneself first?
Yeah, it's appreciating oneself, but I can appreciate myself better when I go to this job with these whites who have never been around nobody but Amos and Andy type blacks.
Yes.
So when you see nothing but Amos and Andy, but now with TV where you can see a black anchor or see a Bill Cosby show, now all at once that takes stress off of there. Now it gets it down to the issue that I have to get the stress off myself. Before it was a two-folk thing. You see, at one time, black folk problem wasn't economics, because I, as a black, and you with me could have been black, sitting on a plane 30 years ago. The plane crashed outside of Memphis, and the two of us is the only two that lived with $10 million in our briefcase, and we could have died because the colored ambulance didn't show up. So it had nothing to do with economics. Now is the first time now that we can move into economics. Before you couldn't. You see, well, the Chinese came to America, and they got places downtown and served food, and the Italians have good restaurants, but we couldn't get the spot downtown.
I know this is awfully cliched to you, I'm sure, but I've never thought to ask it before, and I mean it not with tongue in cheek.
Sure.
Why, if you think of the great American heroes, they are names which are used by American blacks, not by American whites. From Jackson to Washington to Lincoln to Jefferson. Well, they are black surnames, but they're not white surnames.
Yeah,
I've never thought of that before.
I hadn't either.
But isn't that so? I don't know too many Jeffersons who are white.
That's right.
Or Washingtons.
And I tell you what.
Or Jacksons.
You want to have some fun? Go through the black community and look at the names of our high schools and grade schools. And there's Jackson, and Jefferson, and Lincoln. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah. Got 5 more minutes?
I have.
Okay, I'll get it.
First Federal Savings Bank. Loan offices throughout California. An equal opportunity lender.
In Orange County, call First Federal at 859-1390. 859-1390. Time for just a couple more calls to Dick Gregory. Hi, Hank.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Dick Gregory, been a long-time admirer of yours.
Thank you.
I'll state my question very quickly and hang up and listen. You mentioned Elijah Muhammad. I wanted to ask you your opinion on Louis Farrakhan and the controversies going on here in LA the last few weeks.
He's decided to call off his visit here for a while, hasn't he?
Yeah, postponed it, I think.
Well, let me just say, I can't speak on what the controversy here because I don't know about it. But the thing I don't understand about Farrakhan is he's been saying what he's been saying for 15 years. And it just started getting reported. He's never changed his speech.
I often wonder whether all the prior publicity doesn't give him, A, the stature amongst some who may be wavering, and stature amongst those who might find it fascinating to hear somebody with whom they disagree. In other words, stature.
Well, first, if you listen to his speeches, he's talking to that downtrodden black American, and 99% of what he's saying, 0.9% fits right into that. And when you pick up the paper and you see the other things that said, you would almost be led to believe if you're not there that
was it. That was the message.
And what he says to them. And I guess another thing you have to understand about oppression. And everybody to go hear him is not poor. I mean, there's some folks that go hear him because he's saying what they want to hear, economic-wise, and the whole bit. And Newsweek magazine gave him 2-page spread a couple of weeks ago on the new business he was in. Mm-hmm. But when you stop and think that a black dope pusher's son was murdered in Chicago, and he buried him in this coffin that looked like a Cadillac and made worldwide news, and 18 months later, their father was murdered, who was the #1 dope pusher, and 7,000 blacks showed up at the funeral. Not because black folks is for dope. That group of element is so depressed and out of it that anything that's a winner, they'll rally behind. That's a winner. Bring me a winner.
Yeah. So the failing is getting caught, or a loser is a failure.
Yes. And you
we
remember,
need some heroes, don't we?
When I see TV, you know, the drug pushers are glamorous, the fancy cars, the beautiful women, and then the last 3 minutes they catch them. But you gave me 90 minutes of fantastic glamour. And then I walk outside the house, and the only thing I can see there is the dope pusher. I don't see the mayor and the butler that works uptown. I see that. And Farrakhan has been out there working with that 24 hours. That's why whites never heard of him. He's been there working with that. And he's there, and he's there, and he's there. And when he comes to town, you know, 25,000 people. Sure. Now let's get to the Jewish piece, because you can't mention Farrakhan without talking about the Jewish piece. We as black folks can learn from the Jewish piece. They have a sophistication. We have more political muscle, raw political muscle,
we are greater in numbers,
than Jews have. But we have no political power, because without the money, you don't have the power. There are more black folks living in the 2 most populated states in America than there are Jews all over the world. You wouldn't believe that because of the economic pieces put together. And a lot of people complain about how strong their lobbies are. But you say one thing, the Jewish lobby didn't get strong because they were selling dope or they was fronting the Ku Klux Klan. They got strong because they rallied behind their hurt. Now something very interesting. In the Jewish neighborhood, their money changes hands. A low of 7 times, a high of 17 times before it goes outside the community. In the black community, our money comes in and goes out in 7.5 hours. And we did $288 billion cash last year.
See, I think that the influence of Judaism, or no, the American Jew in this country, Judaism is religion, but the Americans who are Jewish comes through more than that. It comes through symphony orchestras, museums, scholastic inheritance.
Yeah, but it didn't used to. I mean,
they had to work their way out of their
ghettos. They worked it up, and then a vicious fight. They couldn't get in banks, the railroads, the whole thing.
Still can't.
Neighborhoods and the whole bit, you know. But it was the economic piece that was put together.
Working way out of immigrant status into being part of the community.
But something's missing because, you know, when you go and see all the Mooney groups and you know, all of those Christian groups, the majority of the people there is young Jewish children. So somebody's, you know, you look at our suicide rate.
I don't know that's true.
You check it out. You serious? You know, I'm not going to say nothing to you. The way you can check stuff, tell me about it. Okay?
I haven't met too many Moonies, but I haven't met too many who were Jewish either.
I see them out there. in the train stations every day at the airports when I'm going through the. And I don't say that as derogatory. I'm saying that as
they're looking
somewhere.
for something else. You're saying.
You know, something is there. Maybe education is not the whole piece. Maybe.
When I came to this country, 6% of Jews were marrying out of their faith. Now 40% are.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe the answer is not after you get there. The whole mystery about the Jewish strength in America, and as long as I live, I'll never be able to figure it out, that Hogan's Hero was a comedy about Nazis. And I just never understood how the Jewish community let that get through. There is no way you'll ever put a Ku Klux Klan comedy on and get by. Now maybe it can be explained.
I can explain that, I think, sir.
Okay.
Because if you hadn't given me the latter part of that equation, I couldn't have.
Okay.
The KKK is ours. See?
Okay.
The Nazis were them.
Okay.
We know we won, and as revolting as what they did was, in every single episode of A Hogan's Heroes, we were the winners, they were the losers.
Okay, but for my children...
Oh, appalling.
Let me go back now.
Appalling.
Let me go back. For my little tots sitting there looking at TV, and they did not hear about the Jewish Holocaust that went down. They didn't hear about Hitler and the Nazis. They saw Hogan's Hero on television.
This represents hundreds of dollars in savings. 2.5 carat diamond solitaires are priced at...